Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Betsy Paps, and we're gonna start up this 2025 with some wisdom thoughts. So stay here tuned so we can go through it. So speaking on wisdom, we're gonna start with specific topics. And number one, we're gonna see what are the words that a wise woman or man should be speaking. For that, let's go to Isaiah chapter 33, verse 15 to 16. It says, "He who walks righteously and speaks with integrity." So we have the first stop here. Speaking with integrity is so important for you to realize that every word that you speak has, of course, the ability to execute a plan, because what you're speaking, that's what it's gonna be. So you should be wise about your words. If we continue, it says, "Who rejects gain from fraud and from oppression, who shakes his hand free from the taking of bribes, who stops his ears from hearing about bloodshed, and shut his eyes to avoid looking upon evil. He will dwell on the heights. His place of defense will be the fortress of rocks. His bread will be given him. His water will be permanent." So, see? These are the results of taking accountability for your words. With that said, that means that whatever you speak is gonna get you to your destiny. So it is important for you to take care of the words that you are speaking. Of course, that is to say that you must also know, what are you hearing? What are you paying attention to? To be able to be wise about it, let's go to our next verse. So I have written it here, so it will be easier to share it with you. So if we go to the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 8, let's read what it says. "Let this book of the law be ever on your lips and in your thoughts." So there is the next stop. We're speaking about our thoughts. So that means our mindset also has to change. In order to do that, the only way, if we go to Romans chapter 10, I guess it's verse 18, we're going to go and look for this. You're going to see it says that faith comes by hearing. So you have to be able to understand this is all connected. Whatever you hear, that's what you're going to be thinking of, and that's what you're going to be speaking out of your mouth. So continuing with the verse, it says you should do this day and night so that you may keep with care everything in it. Then a blessing will be all your way and you will do well. So both verses that I just read, Joshua chapter 1 verse 8 and the previous one, it's speaking about a blessing. There's gonna be a blessing upon the wise. So wouldn't you like to receive those blessings and live on those blessings? Yeah. So to help you more to uncover these wise thoughts, we're going to go to a next chapter. So follow as we go to Proverbs 17, verse 27. And it says, "He who has knowledge restrains and is careful with his words." So there's something else that we have to pause here. Now, our next combination for wisdom is knowledge. Yeah, and it's not like we're gonna study for it. It comes in very different ways. You can get knowledge like by example of someone that just had an incident and that person figured out how to overcome that. So you will learn from that, and that will be your knowledge. You can also have knowledge about your personal experiences. Let's say you pass over a situation, you overcome it, and then you understand what are the steps you took to get to your results. But you also can get knowledge out of personal experience, as I said, other experience, but from the Lord. Come on, look what it says. "He who has knowledge restrains." So there are some certain things you have to understand that you must do. Restrain yourself from speaking things that are not for you to speak. So a man of understanding and wisdom has a cool spirit. That means self-control. So we go to the next spot about wisdom, And you will see that here you embed something called self-control and even temper. So it's talking about trying to maintain the spirituality. In other words, being humble, that's a kind of way of doing this, and also peaceful. That means you're gonna have to work out your emotional part. And we'll get to that in the next video. But for this matter, we're gonna stick onto wisdom. So as we go to the scripture, we're gonna find in James chapter 3, verse 13, let's go there. And it says like this: who among you is wise and intelligent? So now we go to another partner, which is intelligence. Yeah, we need intelligence also to be accompanied with wisdom. So the question is, who among you is wise and intelligent? So now it's going to describe who is that. Let him by his good conduct. So there is where you see the results of wisdom and intelligence. You will portray it by your conduct, the way you behave, the way you act, the way you solve problems. So you can see this is all combined to say that it's a matter of change. When you get to a part of yourself, when you are constantly relating yourself with God, you have a relationship where you choose time for prayer, time to read the word, time to study the word, and just to receive revelation when you pray. There, the change is gonna start, because the fruit of the Spirit will be entering to you, and you will be able to have these conducts, to show these conducts. And we will see this. So getting back to the verse, in James 3:13, it says, let him by his good conduct show his good deeds with the gentleness and humility of true wisdom. So wisdom comes with the conduct of gentleness and humility, as we mentioned before. So to just put the cherry on the cake, we're gonna go and see the other verses in James 3, and we're going to verse 17 and verse 18. So now we're gonna know what are the characteristics of wisdom. It's important that we notice what are those. So let's go. And it says, the wisdom from above is first pure. So let's just put a little pause and understand this. Now we're going into wisdom from above. So we wanted to respond to this question. So where does wisdom come from, right? Because we want to get to the point to find wisdom. So where does it come from? And here is the answer. Wisdom from above, not from this world. It's not about like the wisdom from the earth. No, this is not like an acquired wisdom. No, this is from above. So this means it comes from God. And you can find this in, let me just read it for you. It's here, Job 28:28. It says, and unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and the depart from evil is understanding. So wisdom in the verse also 15, and before that, let's go to Job 28. Let me see. I think it's verse 12. But where shall wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding? So there are the two questions. You're gonna have to figure this out, right? Where does it come from? And then when you continue reading, it says that man know not the price thereof, neither it is found in the land of the living. So you know, this kind of wisdom that we're talking about is not found here on earth. We're speaking about spiritual wisdom that comes from God. So going back to the characteristics, we just saw it is pure. So we continue reading, and it says is then peace loving, gentle, as we saw before on the verse James 3:13, reasonable, full of compassion and good fruits. So there you go again, you see the behavior of good fruits, the result of wisdom. So it is unwavering, without hypocrisy, and the seed whose fruit is righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace. And you can see that's about it. So there are many things we have to settle ourselves for. To be able to gain wisdom, we need the Lord. So when we go to James chapter 1 verse 5, it says, if you have no wisdom, ask for it and the Lord will give to you. He's not going to give you just a little wisdom. He's going to overflow you with wisdom. So the first thing we have to do is to actually establish our relationship with God. We need to be actually looking for, to receive. Even in Hebrew chapter 11 verse 6, you can read that it says that whoever comes to God must understand and be willing to receive, must know that He exists and He is able to give you. So that means God Himself shows us that there's ways that we need to enter to in order to be living in His will. So His will is to bless us, and one of the ways we get blessed is by wisdom, by having knowledge. And we get this through integrity, having our time with God, studying the Bible, and of course, praying. So at the end, what I'm going to encourage you to do is these 3 steps. Number 1, get yourself together this 2025 to establish a prayer time. It's not just praying, but it's about being intentional, getting your way so that you can give your best to God this year. The second thing I'm going to encourage you to do is having a book where you can make Bible studies. This is my book here. That's why I was able to share with you the verses, because as I was studying it, as God was leading me to these themes and chapters, I was writing it down. So as I write it down, I was able to go deeper into it. So, and the third thing is to read the Bible. Like, you could literally start right now a Bible plan and maybe choose something you want to know about and start immediately going into it. Because we have to look for the wisdom. We have to search for it. We have to be able to show that we really want that. So this is what I will encourage you to do in this 2025. I hope this video was very interesting for you, and we'll catch up on the next subject on our next video. So if you're new to this channel, remember to subscribe and hit the like button. And I'm Patsy Pat. See you at the next.